Here.
Now, based on what happened with the audio earlier,
Right.
I don't quite trust that we're
I know.
really here.
I hear you.
We have to proceed as if we are until we're told otherwise. So, hello,
Hi,
Kayla Lords
John Brownstone.
of Loving BDSM, where we help kinksters like you have happy, healthy power exchange relationships. This is our weekly live stream. We record our podcast, the audio version of which hits all major podcast apps every Friday. We are here 2 minutes early, but we're going to need more than 2 minutes to warm up. But if you are here for the live stream, like as it's happening, and you don't like idle chit chat, give yourself about 5 minutes minimum. If you're here after the live stream, but before I put in timestamps, and you don't like idle chit chat, fast forward by at least 5 minutes.
So, yes, the audio is fine.
The audio does indeed work. Yep. It's like we've forgotten how all of this works. We recorded, was it 3 times the audio intro?
3 times for the audio intro.
Because my mic wasn't working.
Yep.
That was not actually a good thing. It didn't mean, oh, now you can hear JB better. I didn't sound right.
Couldn't hear her at all.
Which there's clearly something wrong. I got one of those voices that carries.
So, I will just say, probably some of it was my fault. Because over break, I was tinkering with all this stuff. And
It's true.
the soundboard the mic's hooked into had been under the table here. Mm-hmm. And that was driving me batshit crazy.
And there goes our monetization. Thank you. I'm glad it was you, not me.
Okay, well, hey. So anyway, I unplugged everything and, ripped out cords and I moved it.
You did?
And now it's off to the side of me over here. And if I need to access it for anything, I can. Mm-hmm. And I need to. It's some things that doing... Yeah.
Okay, that sounded technical to me.
Right.
I'm going to say hello to folks.
Say hello to folks.
Hi, Kitty. Hi, Base Eats. Hi, Claire. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Audrey. Hi, Rara. If you hear a hum in the background, it's the space heater that is keeping JB warm in our Florida cold. Hi, Pat Venus. I meant to put my fuzzy socks on, but can't be bothered. It's not that bad for me. I am, for the record though, I am wearing technically 2 layers. I have my oversized sweatshirt that I could probably put a belt around and make it a dress, and a tank top underneath, because we did have to leave the house when it was colder than it is now. And there was no way I was putting on a damn jacket, but I didn't want the wind to just whip right through me.
Yeah.
So I added a layer.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
But I'm wearing leggings and I put on shoes that left like no socks, so like my ankles were exposed to the cold. I survived, so
Yeah, you did.
I'm not sure how you are doing anything short of a parka, hat, gloves, and scarf. But hi, Andre. So yeah, we're back. We do not promise more or less chaos today or for the year. But this will be an episode where we are reminding ourselves how to do this.
Yeah.
Getting our bearings. It's 3 takes to get the podcast intro right. It's gonna be a fun one. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So before I officially get us started, is there anything you'd like to say?
It's good to be back.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And hello, everyone.
I chose this life. I chose this man. I love him so much.
You did.
Okay. Sometimes you just gotta remind yourself. You really gonna tell me you don't remind yourself that you actually do love me from time to time?
Maybe on occasion.
Right, exactly. I just have no shame and we'll do it on camera. Okay, so we're gonna get started. As you can maybe tell from the title, I think I was clear, but you never know with me. We're going to talk about kind of our goals, plans, intentions for 2025 as it relates to our DS life. I knew we were going to do this episode at the end of 2024, but then we were having discussions with one another while we were on our break over the holidays, and I was like, oh no, we're really going to have this conversation, because we had been in our own thoughts and then finally came together and went, oh, look at us, we're kind of on the same page again. So that's what we're doing.
Yep.
If you enjoy this, we love a thumbs up. If you like it enough to want to come back for more, please consider subscribing.
And you do that, go ahead and ring the notification bell to get updates and new content.
Just do what Daddy says. And that is all I have to say about that, because the announcements are for everybody.
Okay.
There's much to say.
So I can click the button.
You can click the magic button. Okay, so before we get into today's topic, announcements. One, relatively short. One, relatively long. Brace yourselves. Okay, so the first one is just to point you to a podcast episode / video / even blog post that we were a part of with Dom Sub Living. They asked us and a few other kinksters, what is like the one thing you wish you knew when you got into kink, when you know, before you even got into kink. So we shared our thoughts along with other folks like Evie and Sunny Megatron and a couple other people whose right now the names escape me, but I recognized them. I was like, oh yeah, but y'all know me and my memory. So if you would like to check out that episode video situation, the link is in the places. Feel free. Ta-da, there you go. That one was the quick one. Look at me. Yay, that was the quick one. Here's the long one. We are officially in our 2025 Patreon membership drive. This is the part of the year where we try to encourage as many folks who can, because you happen to have the funds, to join us on Patreon. One, joining on Patreon is a way to support the work we do and make it a little easier for us to do it and to not be working on other things. It helps sustain life, and so we can sit here with you once a week and be whatever this is. And in exchange, we hope we give our Patreon community something in return to make it worth it. So the membership drive is important for two primary reasons. It runs through February 16th, 15th. I think in the blog post I said 16th. There's a blog post with all this information I'm about to say. It's linked in the places if you would prefer to read it, or if you need a refresher. But I'm just now realizing I put an incorrect date. 15th. Runs through the 15th of February. During the membership drive, what you get that makes this special opposed to other times is, one, if you sign them as an annual member, you get 2 months free. So you pay for 10 months and you get access for a year. On a $10 a month membership, that's in US dollars, it's $100. Also during the membership drive, if you maintain membership, shout out to our current kinky community, or you become a member and are a member until February 15th, you then get a special goodie based on your tier. So this year, we have 3 tiers on our Patreon. The $2 and the $5 folks in those 2 tiers will get, and not even released yet, and technically not even finished yet, new kinky workbook that we are making. And it will focus on communication and power exchange, which I just still don't know how we haven't made that workbook yet. So it's brand new. It won't be available anywhere else when we send it out to the folks who become eligible for it. They'll get it at no additional charge. Eventually it will make its way to Etsy, where if you want it, you got to pay for it. We're doing something a little different this year. Also, the $10 tier, it's our highest official tier, we'll also get that BDSM workbook. It is digital. It's a PDF. It's printable. We do not have the means, the funds to do printed ones at this point. Not in this way. Not for something like a membership drive. But the $10 tier gets that, but also gets an exclusive, meaning you will not see it on Etsy later. pin, enamel pin, P-I-N pin. I don't know if y'all think I'm saying it right, but I think I'm saying it right. That commemorates the Loving BDSM 10th podcast anniversary, because 2025 is when we hit our 10th podcast anniversary.
Wow.
So it's going to feature our logo, and then once I finish like making it look away, it's going to say like 10th anniversary and like 2015 to 2025, something like that. And it will only be available to our kinky community members. The first chance to get it is to be in the $10 tier during the membership drive. We do ship internationally, so you can be in the States, you can be in another country. If you're in that tier, you will get that pin. After the membership drive, might do giveaways throughout the year, so other people can have a chance to get that pin, but this is not one we are selling. This is one that will be exclusive, because quite frankly, we would not have made it 10 years without our Patreon community.
That's true.
Y'all got us through some like real lean times. So yeah, this one is just for Patreon membership. Up through February 15th, you get the 2 months free for an annual thing. If you don't have that kind of cash, but you're like, I would really like that pin. If you do month to month, you can cancel or change your tier at any time. It's as little as $2 a month to join, but if you want that pin, got to be in the $10 tier during the membership drive. So after the membership drive, change your tier if you need to. We don't want anybody going broke just to come hang out with us. Now, if you join our Patreon at any point this year, but especially the membership drive, here's what you get. Everybody gets certain things, regardless of tier. Access to our Discord server. It is the only way to get access to our Discord server. Oh my God, how have I forgotten what we give away? Holy crap. We also do a monthly behind the scenes podcast episode that used to focus more on what we were doing professionally, and it still will, because our work life is part of our life. But as you'll find out in this week's episode about our plans to like where we want to go with our power exchange life this year, we will be talking about that a lot in the behind the scenes in ways that we probably won't do in episodes. So you get a little insight there. Plus, we will do alternating every other month, a game night or movie night. Game night, we'll play Cards Against Humanity every other month. In the month we don't have a game night, we're doing a movie night. We're going to do that in Discord. I'll probably just share my screen. We intend to watch kinky movies together. How long will they take? I guess it depends on how often I have to hit pause and go, what the ever-loving fuck? So that's what everybody gets regardless of what tier you're at. If you join at the $5 tier, you get access to a brand new thing we've never done before, but is highly requested. JB is recording himself reading bedtime stories, and we're doing fairy tales for this
Grimm's
year.
Fairy Tales,
Grimm's
yeah.
Fairy Tales. So if you like the sound of this man's voice and wish you could hear it without me anywhere near it, this would be
There's
your
your
chance. The $5 tier minimum is what you have to do to join that. If you join the $10 tier, you get access to every digital product we make that goes on Etsy, all of our workbooks, all of our planner sheets, the coloring books we make, all of that at no additional charge. That's what you get extra in the $10 tier, plus access to the bedtime stories, plus everything else. So I just said a lot and was chaotic. If you're like, what the hell was that? There are links in the places where you can go look at the information for yourself and not depend on my chaotic ass.
I think I need to go read the information.
So do I. And I have written it multiple times in multiple places now. I'm just now realizing I got a date wrong, because of course I did.
And somebody, Master Frostbite in the chat, asked stickers?
We're not doing stickers this year. Part of that was because trying to afford to mail out stickers in 2024 nearly broke us. And the best way to make the enamel pin at the $10 level truly exclusive, that has to be the only thing I'm spending postage and dollars to create on. Now, we do have a tentative plan to do something special at the end of the year for December for like a special temporary tier folks can join. And that will likely involve stickers, but that's not a fully fleshed out plan. So no, this year, $2 and $5 folks get our brand new BDSM communication workbook, and then $10 folks get that and the special 10th anniversary enamel pin, PIN pin. So, yeah, that's what's going on. I hate that I did not have my shit together well enough to explain that, but I knew I wouldn't. I put it in writing. If you happen to be a current Patreon member, or you join like in the next whatever, we also did a video on it that you would have access to. We also recorded an audio podcast. Like, that's all that was for Patreon folks, but it is in writing. If you're like, I have no fucking clue what she just said, I don't know what she's talking about, there are links. So that is that. I am going to take a sip of my Diet Coke and show off to the camera my new Starbucks cup I got for Christmas. That is beautiful. Okay. So into the actual topic.
Okay.
And he walked away. Oh, okay. I was going to say, just a reminder for anybody who maybe didn't catch it at the very, very beginning of this episode, there was a hum in the background for JB's space heater.
I just turned it off.
I know. And
Yeah.
so now if you're like, wow, I can hear them better, it's because that space heater is
That
on.
one's gone. Yep.
Did you get hot?
I'm warm, comfortable enough.
Wow.
I'm not going to say I'm warm.
No, you would never admit that during this Arctic blast that
Right.
Florida is experiencing.
She teased me mercilessly last night because I wrapped myself up in a microfiber blanket.
Oh, he wrapped himself up like he was, escaping war, y'all. Like, it was the way, y'all, he looked pitiful. The first view I got of it, I didn't get my phone up fast enough to get the picture, because that one was the funniest view. And then I finally convinced him to do a recreation, and I posted that in Discord. I was like, somebody is cold, and somebody else is laughing at them. Because y'all, he was in his flannel PJ pants, his shirt, did you have your robe on?
Yeah.
Your slippers, the blanket, with the dog. Was the dog next to you at the time
Yes.
with her body heat?
Yep.
And the
And the
space
cat.
heater 3 feet away from him.
And the cat in my lap.
Anyway, that's me, what's the word I want? Giving you shit. It's not really the point of this episode.
No.
It's a feature, not a bug, of our relationship though. So, I think we both realized we were on the same page about this week's topic when we were having our conversation in the last episode of 2024. Because, you said it. You're like, I miss us. I want to get back to us, right? And then we did a thing I don't think we've done in literal years. We actually took time off during our break.
Yes.
Which did a lot of wonderful good things, but also I think gave us time to just sit and breathe and think. And not just think about the things that stress us out or worry us, but think about the things we actually want.
Yeah. And for me, that was kind of unusual because I don't normally do that. In the past, during our winter break, I would go out, I'd deep clean the shop, so to speak. I'd maintenance tools. I'd make things that I don't have a chance to make during the busy of the season. And I did not do that this year.
No, you actually rested.
Yeah.
As you should. I believe I was lecturing you in previous years for that.
Yeah.
But the good thing about that is, we got to just relax and just do some stuff we wanted to do. We got a lot more sleep, all that.
Yeah.
But also, we had a couple of pleasant surprises. So let me start by saying the caveat, that the reminder, the whatever. Kink and sex are not required to go hand in hand.
Right.
You can do kink without sex, just like you can do sex without kink. However, if we're fucking, it's kinky. That's just how we are with one
There's
another.
aspects of that in there, yeah.
Right. There's something about it that's definitely under the BDSM umbrella every time. A couple things happened in a very short amount of time. One, we were relaxed enough and rested enough that we wanted to have sex. And we were in a headspace where we were actually actively talking about not just our kink life, not just our power exchange, but actually our sex life,
Yeah.
which is not something we've done in a long time. The last conversation I think I remember having, it was me doing the, I am so sorry that I don't seem to want that right now. And, you know.
And you know, I think that was my state of mind for a time there. You know, yeah, she's going through, you know, perimenopause and has no interest in sex, and
yeah,
you know, and I just, okay, that's the way it is.
right. I mean, that was the way it was for me too. And you know, we've talked in previous episodes about how the way we handle, you know, our individual sex lives and our sex life as a couple, doesn't cause guilt. Like I don't like it. I want to be sexually close to you, but if the mind and body just can't, I don't walk around feeling bad about it either. We talk it out. He's got what he has to do, what he wants to do. I'm not necessarily required for that. And then, you know, I could just be miserable and sexless in peace. You know? But part of it is, you know, on the sex side, right? I have been on this sort of journey to get my hormones like regulated. And I think we've finally mostly gotten to the right dosage level, and the desire for sex is coming back. Now, the other thing that was happening at about the same time as, you know, the holidays at the end of last year was some life stressors were starting to calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
And regardless of what's going on with your physical body, stress can kill the desire for sex.
A good libido, yes, it can.
For many people, not all people, but enough of us. And so that was helping as well. But the thing I noticed more than anything was the willingness to talk about it. And I don't mean from you. You're always the one to talk about it if I want to talk about it. I don't talk about sex with you very often.
No.
And then we had a couple of like crazy mornings. We are now morning sex people for the most part. And you were doing some things I liked. You were doing some things that I was like, oh, I can feel myself responding to this. And for once, I just told you. I went, hey, if you do this thing first, you're going to get a better response than if you do that thing. And that, one, it worked. We've had a couple of follow-up conversations because we are creatures of habit. And so JB has been getting me primed for a good dicking for many years now. And so he has his go-tos. And so I've had to come back and go, I know what you're doing here, but remember what we talked about?
Yeah, I still need that little...
Yeah, because it's not habit yet.
Right.
But it was more profound to me that not only could I just speak up and go, hey, look, if you want to get me locked and fucking loaded, pull my fucking hair. Actually, what I said was dominate me. Have power, have control.
Yeah.
Back in the day when everything was loosey, goosey, and juicy, you just had to look at my clit sideways and I was ready to go. These days, I need more than physical. I need an emotional, mental thing before the head's got to be into it before the body's going to follow. So in talking about that, hey, I need more physical control from you as part of our sex life. It is even just the foreplay part of our sex life, the getting us ready for the sex part. That led into conversations about our power exchange.
Yes.
That were needed. What we have had over the past few years, we've had conversations here and there about our power exchange.
Correct.
But never really with the intention of doing anything, just sort of the acknowledgement of, this part of life is kind of sucking right now, and we would love to have something different, but, you know, we would mutually kind of say in our own way and that we just didn't have the energy or the time or the will. We would just keep things going on the routine that we had. Right. Because when everything else goes to shit, sometimes it's those, you know, in the background routines that
hold you together.
Right. So, that's where this all stems from. The first part I wanted to, because it was a conversation we had over the past couple of weeks,
Yeah.
was about the concept of a word for the year, or words for the year. I never can just have one word of a year. That's not enough. No one single word encompasses all my thoughts. So we sat down and talked about this in relation to our power exchange.
Right.
What is your word?
Right.
Are your words?
A word.
Okay.
My word is mindfulness. Okay. For too long now, I've been in a reactive mode, and I need to get out of that.
Now, what do you mean by that? Reactive, as it pertains to our power exchange. Reactive in what way, and what does it mean to get out of that for you?
Well, not so much that and let me clarify here. What I'm talking about is not directly related to our power exchange, but it is how these outside things affected our power exchange. So, when I say mindfulness and the fact that, I feel like I have been on reactive mode, it's just because of everything that has been happening.
Right. You have to,
in our lives, and between the finances, between a number of other things that we were going through, it just seemed like constantly running to put out fires.
Right. There was no time to just sit and think, to plan.
Right.
If you tried to plan, that was
you stomp out one fire, and
Right.
Another one's going over there, and you go to that, and then the other one started back up in addition to another one.
Right.
So round and round we go. I will be flat out honest with you, with all of y'all. 2024 sucked for me. And yet, in a way, it was the best thing that happened because I needed it. I feel like last year I hit bottom. I tanked my mental health, my ability to keep on shouldering things, and it all just came to an end in not a good way.
Knowing what you and I know, that's for our personal stuff. Do you feel like you're pulling yourself out of that now,
Yes.
or that you woke up one day and you just are on a higher step of the ladder? Like, is it a physical, like I'm actively pulling myself out of this now?
It does feel that way.
Gotcha.
It's like a physical thing, step by step. But yeah, in some ways, I'm kind of glad it happened, because now there's only one way to go, so to speak.
Yeah, this is the first time in 4 years that I would agree with that without putting the caveat of, well, you never know. This is the first time I'm like, yes, I feel like where we were. So even in the first 8 days of the year, yes, it'll be a squiggly loop-de-loop line, but it's the progression is momentum is upward.
Right. So for me, I want to practice more mindfulness, be more aware of things. Okay.
And specific to power exchange, what are you thinking?
In addition to the power exchange, I would say for me right now, just to be more there.
That's what I mean. As it pertains to our power exchange, what does that look like?
What does that look like? Well, I started making sure you get your collar on every day.
Yeah, we had gotten so bad. There were Wednesdays we were on camera and I wasn't wearing a collar, and both of us were like, whatever.
Yeah.
No, we didn't like that.
So I've been making more of a, been doing that more regularly now.
And that's a feedback loop, because once you started, I went, we never had a conversation about it, y'all.
Yep.
I went, this is important to him. So then if you forgot, I reminded you. But here's what I'll tell you from my own personal submissive perspective. I like it when you remember it and you bring it to me and
I
you're
can
like,
tell that.
I am putting this
Yes.
on you. I'm
Right.
like, okay.
Yeah. Yep. I can tell.
We don't really use terms like ownership in our power exchange, but there is this feeling of like, I am his and he is putting on the thing that shows that to the whole world. Podcast listeners, you cannot see this, but JB just had to run off camera out the back door because Lola was crying like she thought she'd been abandoned. On the other side of the house. She wasn't at the door trying to come in.
No.
So yeah, hi Lola. The focusing on my collar again, that was immediately noticeable. And I am happy to, if you're like, hey, I'm telling you as your big D, make sure you've got your collar on, because that's how it used to be for us. And I will if that's what you want. But I do like the fact that you are thinking about it and you are remembering and you're looking at me going, she's not wearing my fucking collar. That's not okay. Like, I like that.
Okay.
You know?
All right. And I'm sorry for you saw that look. That was because Lola was winding in between the legs of the tripod. Yeah.
She hadn't changed a bit, y'all.
Gotta love her.
We got a Lola update in the bonus section, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so intention. Look, my collar. Okay, so what else does that look like?
The other thing that I like is our nighttime ritual.
Okay.
Which has gotten...
You are more involved in it, that's for sure.
Yes.
Here's the low was, if I was lucky, I got about 30 seconds of a butt rub. You know, I'm a creature of habit and routine, so having the routine of here are the things I'm supposed to do for our nighttime routine unless he had said stop doing that, I wouldn't have liked it. But as long as he allowed me to do it, I was still doing it. But his part required less. In terms of make sure you've done this, make sure you've done that. Like I did all that. And then he was like the final decider of, okay, now get into bed, go to sleep. And at your lowest point, if I got like half a butt rub, you know, and I never took it.
Sometimes it was like just a tap, you know?
Yeah. And I never took it personally. I knew it wasn't about me. But yeah, it's not the best feeling in the world. And yes, I have been able to tell the difference there.
And you know, yeah, even for me, I did not really care for it because, you know, I knew, you know, this is not how it's...
Right. You knew what we used to be like.
Right.
And how it used to be.
Yes. So, you know, there was that. But, yeah, that has definitely changed. And few nights now you've gone to bed with your ass warmed.
I know. The room is cold. My butt is hot. As it should be.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, you've your sadistic side has been more, it's been closer to the surface. And I both love that and hate that at the same time.
Yeah, you can't imagine why.
Right. I've also noticed, and so we're talking about what's going on now at the very beginning of 2025 with the hopes that, one, if we pay attention to it and acknowledge it and nurture it, it will continue on in the future. I have noticed that you are quicker to at least threaten some level of, I would call it punishment more than anything, when my mouth gets carried away with me.
Yes.
And again, I both like that and I'm scared of it. So I'd kind of gotten used to, if he thought I was being funny, he'd laugh with me. But any sort of air quote threat, you know, a consensual threat, didn't pack a lot of heat. The other day, I do not remember what I said or what we were talking about, but you did your classic from many years ago. It feels like there's a way you say, "Oh, are you sure that's what you want to say? You want to rethink that?" Yeah. You will rethink all of your life choices when he says it in the tone he uses for that. I can't do it. I'm not built that way. I'm not a big D.
And I'm not even going to try to recreate it because it's one of those things that
in the moment,
it works in the moment.
And so far, that has been the best part of this
Mm-hmm.
is that it's felt, I mean, yes, you're being mindful and you're thinking about it, and that makes a big difference. But it has also felt organic. We've just kind of been in a moment, and you know, I even on my worst days, I'm still a sassy fucking bitch. Okay, so I never stop being sassy, but the way I respond to him is based on how he responds to me. And previously, you know, maybe a chuckle, maybe a this. Every once in a while, like, you know, the old JB, like, peek his head through. But even since right after the end of 2024, it's been a response and an that I recognize. And so then my response to you changes and shifts. And now there's, I mean, I think you've just done it to yourself if you say that I'm sassier than ever. I think we know whose fault that is, and it's not mine. Because now I'm responding to the energy you're putting out there, which has been a lot of fun as well. Yeah. And the thing I've noticed, and I think this comes into play with mindfulness, in the fun moments, it's easy to respond to his dominant energy and his daddy energy and his sadist energy. But that actually has translated over into the quieter moments. I have gotten to one of the things we do that's sort of a subtle power exchange thing that can happen anywhere. So when we get in the car, my job is to ask, does he want his sunglasses? Not in the middle of the night. I use my fucking brain. Is the big ball of fire in the sky? My job is to ask him, does he want his sunglasses? And if he does, I get them out for him, right? And that was a thing that was happening chaotically and haphazardly at best. But just having these other moments of our power exchange kind of come back into play, I'm a little bit like locked into that mindset. So we get in the car and I'm like, hey, ball of fire in sky, sunglasses, maybe? You know, it's actually happening without me doing a lot of, oh, fuck, I'm sorry, I forgot again. And I like that. I like that.
Yep.
So mindfulness is your word.
Yes.
I have multiple words. So what else would you like to say about mindfulness?
That's good for me for the moment.
Okay. So
what's yours?
The one that I'm definitely sticking with goes hand in hand. You said mindfulness and my brain went intentional. Because for the past several years, our power exchange has just been on autoplay. Right. It's just the stuff that we turned into habits and routines that we just always do as part of our day-to-day interactions. And that to me is a good thing to have for those times of life where you don't have energy or time or whatever for anything else. It is what allowed me to feel like you're submissive all this time through some of the worst shit we've been through. That being said, just because it allowed that sense of power exchange and that sort of recognition of we're it's still a dynamic and we still think of our life this way and our relationship this way, does not mean we were functioning at like peak power exchange. Like it wasn't like that wasn't how I wanted to live forever. It was just I understood this is what would work for now. So now you're being mindful and I'm over here being intentional because now I'm thinking about beyond just the habits, beyond just the stuff you do by rote that you are not even consciously thinking about. And so I'm very aware if my collar is on or not. Just in the past few days, it has not taken a long time. Part of it, I think, is because these are not new habits to get into. These are things we were doing and they fell off, and now we're getting back into them. Bedtime routine. I'll probably never be fully intentional with some of my tone because, man, if I think I might be funny, I'll just let it rip. But I am, once again, becoming more aware that, what I say might have consequences. might have consequences. I'm not mad about that. Nervous? Yes. Mad? No. So yeah, one of my words for the year is intentional, and how that relates to plans and goals for this year will come up again when we get to that part. And then the other one, I could never settle on which one. Here are the multiple words, and I just need one that encompasses them all.
Okay.
Renew, rejuvenate, refresh,
Revitalize.
Whatever word it is I'm looking for that I cannot think of right now or ever. I've not thought of it in a few weeks. It is that word for our relationship. I recognize that whatever we get to and whatever that next part of level is, or next part of the journey is, or whatever, pick a metaphor, any metaphor, it probably will not look like it did pre-dumpster fire years. It's gonna look different because life has changed for us. We're different. Stuff has gone on.
Coming out the other side, we're different.
That too.
Yeah.
But the feeling is what I want. Renewed, refreshed, revitalized, revisited. Like that's what, and that's the connection that we had that was not 24/7, 365, where the only thing we ever thought about was each other and our dynamic. Like that's not real life. But in any given moment, any given day, I could pinpoint all these places where, oh yeah, that was me being very submissive. Oh yeah, that was his sadistic daddy. Oh yeah, here's where we came together. I just hit myself in the face. Here's where we came together, and it was very, us as dom sub, right? That, whatever that's gonna look like 2025 and forward, I don't quite know what that's going to look like. We're going to be who we are. We're going to vibe the way we've been vibing.
Yep.
But the actual activities may wildly differ. I don't know. That then I go back to intentional of how much of it is that something we want to intentionally change. Those are not necessarily conversations we've had yet.
Right.
And how much of it is we want to get the feeling back and then let things happen
organically.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my words.
Okay.
So I can talk about one plan-ish with the goal of getting us revitalized. See, I don't know what the word is, but the vibe of that word. It's something we're gonna do that we've already talked about. We don't have it scheduled like on this week we're gonna do this and this.
No,
but we have a few ideas written out. We'll brainstorm as we go on. We are going to do little power exchange moments that are kind of like experiments, kind of like let's just test this out and see how we feel. And some of those, there are going to be topics for upcoming episodes. One that I floated in a nervous voice was, so I know nobody is shocked to know that at any moment in time, unless I'm specifically told to be quiet, he uses the D voice and be quiet and I'm quiet. I got a lot to say. I got a lot of questions. I got a lot of thoughts. It is very rare, or has been anyway, for me to be told to do something and to just do it.
But
what about?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
And why? And yeah.
So one of the ones we talked about, and if it works, we might do it multiple times. But one of the things we talked about was having a day, a weekend, a time frame where we have things to do. It's not just our normal routine at home where, but like we're out in public, we're doing something different, whatever. And my job is to fucking follow. Unless what he's asking is a hard limit, which, God, you haven't asked for something that's a hard limit in a literal decade.
Yeah.
Or I genuinely do not understand what's being asked of me. We're going to have some amount of time where he tells me to do a thing. I just do a thing. Part of this came from the conversation we had that I've really enjoyed having these moments. We're in a busy, we're going to Sam's Club. We're in a busy parking lot and he's walking ahead of me. And I realize I don't have to be worried about traffic. I don't have to look both ways. I just have to follow my daddy because he's not going to let his ass get hit. So guess what? He's not going to let my ass get hit. And the few times I've just sort of played with that, he doesn't even know it's fucking happening. I'm walking behind him. I'm in my own little head. I really liked it. But I'm like, okay, I'm choosing to do this and I'm making it happen without anybody controlling it. Of course I like it. What happens? Like, can Kayla just shut the fuck up and do what she's told? We don't know.
Well, just for a quick example, how it goes sometimes. I do not like to drive the same route over and over again.
And I only want to.
I like to change it up, go different routes.
I don't know how your brain works. I just don't get it.
And when Kayla is with me and I go a different way, what are you doing? Why are we going? Is something wrong? What's going on?
That might be whatever flavor of neurospicy I am. I'm just saying. But the idea of being intentional and mindful, to use your word, of going, okay, I don't need to ask this question. He's a grown-ass man who survived the world for 50 years before he met me. He's got this. I do a lot, lately especially, with all of this in mind, I do a lot of like in my head, you're driving and I'm like, does he drive as carefully as he once did when he rode a motorcycle every single day? No,
Probably
no,
not.
he does not.
No, okay.
Also, have I become more anxious as time has gone on? Yes.
Yeah.
But also, he's not a reckless driver. He knows what the hell he's doing. He's been driving longer than I've been alive. So that's me making age gaps weird. So, like, what the fuck am I worried about? I know what I'm worried about. I kind of know how my brain works. But part of the beauty of submission is letting some of that fucking go and trusting the person that you've put in charge, right?
Yeah.
And it might not seem it to you because you hear every ooh and see the Fred Flintstone break thing happen to me all the time. But I would like it on record that at least over the past few days, I have made a concerted effort to calm the fuck down.
You have. I've noticed that you're not jumping in every time. A couple times, you
Sure. Look, if it looks egregious and I'm like, I don't think you know what's coming up.
Right. You're all over it. But
something.
you have been doing better, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah,
It
was not fun to ride in a car with one another. Because a few things. Either if I was trying to pay attention to the road, I was on high alert and just like sweating. I was so anxious, and he was aggravated. Or I had my nose stuck in my phone to avoid that, but then we weren't talking and we weren't interacting, and I was getting annoyed when he interrupted me reading. Like that's fine every once in a while, but we had gotten to a point where that was our relationship if we were out together.
Yeah.
I was glued to my phone. He was... I don't know what you were doing. I wasn't paying attention because I was reading my book on my phone.
I was driving my car alone.
I don't know. I don't know about that. So, of course, in an ideal world, one partner would not annoy the shit out of the other about their driving. Like, yeah, but I find it easier to do hard things sometimes with the help of and through the lens of power exchange. I can do a whole hell of a lot more that I find uncomfortable when I'm thinking about how I don't have to be in control than when I'm worried I do need to be in control. You know what I mean? Or I do need to be aware. And let's be frank here. Over the past few years, as your mental health tanked, as you hit your bottom, right?
Yeah.
I had to take charge of more stuff.
You did.
Now, I was doing it through this idea of being of service, both to you and to our life, but I've had my fingers in a lot of damn pots that for a few years you did not have. Like early in us moving in together, you did not. And I know that means going forward, it'll probably be difficult at times to let go of that
control away from you.
We did the episode on control issues. I got them.
Yep.
But on some levels, I'm like, take it here. Have it back. I don't want it anymore.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So those kinds of things, intentional, mindful, moving forward. Purposeful. What are ways that we can reconnect in our power exchange and do it sometimes like genuinely, intentionally, like we plan a thing, like the thing I was talking about. We've been asked for years to try a few kink apps, not the dating ones, but like obedience and stuff like that. What we actually have a list now. There's like 3 that we know of that are supposedly specific to kinky relationships. Well, we're going to spend some time testing those out. And so we can come back and talk to y'all about what we think about these apps, but also how does it allow us to reconnect in our power exchange? What does that do for our power exchange? I believe at some point on the list of ideas is to rehash what we want our power exchange to look like.
Right.
You know, the things that I've been doing since 2014, should I still be doing them, right? The things you do have control of, is that what you still, are there things you would prefer to have control over that you don't necessarily, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that is, you know, our thinking right now on how we will handle our power exchange and hopefully get it to whatever it's gonna be that we think is better than it is now, right? Or better than it has been, because right now it's feeling pretty fucking good. I've been, to the extent that I'm capable of, I've been fairly relaxed, you know, in some things over the past few weeks, as we've just taken some time to just breathe and to just be.
I think that has been a big thing for us, because we, we took some time to breathe. We touched some grass.
Yeah, that really helped, y'all. That really did help.
We did things unrelated to home and work. Okay. We've discovered we both enjoy thrifting.
Yeah, I still kind of have to have a goal in
Somewhat
mind.
of a purpose, yeah.
Yeah, I need to be looking for something, but yeah, I'm still not sure how I feel about antiquing though. Like, it's just,
I know. Yeah.
But I did it.
Yeah. I liked it.
And I did find something. So.
See, for me, I like the surprise finds.
No, the best time I had at thrifting, I went in with a goal. I wanted a certain size mason jar. Mason jar? It's mason jar, right?
Yeah.
Bell jar.
Yeah.
Not the little, not the giant, like that middle size, right? And I knew from experience, I knew from things people had said, those sizes are hard to find. They get snatched up really quickly. One day of thrifting, I found 5 at 3 different places. Bought every fucking one I found. That's why you can never find them when you go thrifting, because people like me come in, we buy them all. Yeah. And that was fun. I was like, there's the dopamine hit. We can do this world.
Right.
Of course, then we had a thrifting experience where everybody had blinders on, and so they forgot that people exist beyond their personal space and were just awful. And I was like, somebody get me out of here. Can I be on a deserted island by myself now? But yeah, I mean, exploring newish things. Oh, this has nothing to do with what we were just talking about, but I felt the back of my neck. My brain jumped to, that was a dominant thing he did. Okay, podcast listeners, you cannot see this, but my hair is slowly being long enough I can pull it back in a ponytail. I'm in that very awkward phase of growing out my hair. Also, I have not been willing or been able to spend money on haircut. Like, I'm just whatever, right? But now I'm able to pull it back in a ponytail. And if you're a person who's ever gone from short to longer hair, you know the growing part is awkward, especially like back of your neck, maybe something that used to be like shaved down a little bit. Pull my hair up. I did not even realize it. The other day, I pull it back, and back of my neck must have looked rough. Because JB, knowing what he is allowed to do with me and to me, told me today, when we had to go run errands this morning, he goes, when we get home, meet me in the garage. I'm bringing my clippers. And I went, what the fuck? What? He had decided whatever crazy outgrowth is happening on the back of my neck, that shit had to go. He told me, he said, I could not let you go out looking crazy again. We had to fix it. And I'm over here going, that is the sweetest but kind of meanest thing I've heard. And you just took charge and made it happen. Oh my gosh, I love this. JB of 6 months ago might have said something, but then would have said, remind me. Maybe I'll do that if you tell me. JB of 2025 went, we're fixing that shit today. You look crazy. I can't let you go out like that.
I looked at it as, the same way that hopefully you wouldn't let me go out if I had like toilet paper hanging off my, somewhere, or, something. So. Yeah, no,
and I wouldn't. I think for me, it's refreshing because you saw it, did something like it was Dom energy, but it wasn't strict, stern Dom energy. It was nurturing caregiver Dom energy. And I cannot tell you the last time I felt that directed at me with high beams on. Like, you've directed it at me, but not with an intensity,
Yeah.
So,
well, that's all part of, wanting to be more mindful of the things that I'm doing in regards to our power exchange.
Yep.
Everything, really, but power exchange.
Right, as it relates to conversations like these, power exchange, and just our relationship in general. Because our relationship, can we be together without the power exchange? Yes. But who we are as we understand ourselves today, the power exchange is like a necessary layer. It is the peanut butter in the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Okay, you can't have this without that.
Yeah.
Right. If we had to undo life to not have the power exchange, well, now it's going to probably be a turkey sandwich on rye. It's a whole completely different thing. All new ingredients. I am killing it at figurative language today, I'm sure. So I actually don't think I do, but I'll ask you. Do you have any goals, things that you want to accomplish, whether it's in 2025 or just future, with regards to our power exchange?
I would like to see us maybe kind of break some boundaries, or not break boundaries in the bad way. But
stretch boundaries.
Stretch them. Try different things. Maybe.
See if soft limits can go to on the table, no limits kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, the most submissive thing I know how to do is to go, okay. Minimal effort. Maximal anxiety, but minimal effort.
Yeah. Now, I'm saying this because I believe it kind of goes hand in hand a little bit. But after our break, where we actually took time to be with each other and go out and do some things.
Had sex, lots of sex, all of it kinky.
That too. But no, I realized that neither one of us, I mean, even when I was going to Munch's, though, I mean, I was getting out of the house, but you and I were not doing things outside of this.
Right, not together, yeah.
Yeah. And, I think that all goes hand in hand with the relationship, with the power change, with everything that we are. And I think we need to have a little bit more of that time.
Yes, I think
away, and that is something that I definitely want to.
I think that we are now finally back at a point where we might have the luxury to do that.
True.
Because for a while it was not an option to try to do that, and then slowly we've gotten creative. We found new ways of doing things, blah blah blah, and that is becoming more of an option.
Correct.
This was true before dumpster fire years. It continues to be true. It's probably just even more solidified into my DNA. I do better doing things when I'm with you. You are my emotional support human.
Yep.
And my emotional support daddy. So I'm still not great with big crowds. I'm still not good with social stuff. But to get out of the house, for a while we had a time where I didn't even hardly felt like I could leave. There was just some shit going on. And now we're not. That's old stuff now. Right. Now things have changed and things are better. I still don't want to go too damn many places. But if I'm going anywhere, I'm only going with you.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
I mean, beyond the being a mom and taking your kid to an appointment, like not that kind of shit, but like you want to go to a store, you want to go to this, I need my emotional support, Daddy Dom. I'm sorry. And yeah, I feel like we're at a point, not just that we can do those things, but that we want to. Because I'm fairly certain there were points over the past few years we could have. Mm-hmm. We just did not have the energy to even think about what we could go do, what we might want to do, how we want to get it done. Now, with some of the pressure and stress, it hasn't gone away completely, but it's lifted.
It's lessened.
Right.
Yes.
Like, that's just cleared up space in my brain to actually think thoughts again and think creatively again. To think, oh, here's a way we could do this that we don't normally do it. Whereas before I felt so weighed down. I mean, I was just like, I could barely see, a few inches in front of my face to just do what I'd been doing. And that makes a big difference, For anybody else who might be, who might be sort of resonating with the dumpster fire life for a few years thing, you're not doing power exchange wrong or kink wrong if you can't, think of amazing new things you want to do with a partner or change your entire power exchange. We 2021 through 2024 were some rough fucking years. Okay. And I'm not saying they won't be rough in the future. We're currently in this space where it is way less rough.
Yeah.
And we have hope again. Mm-hmm. And so now we can do things we just did not have the energy for before. We were just surviving before. And the thing that helped our power exchange survive it was the fact that we had put routines in place that could go on autopilot, that did not require a lot of
effort or deep thought.
Exactly.
So to speak,
it did mean that our power exchange stagnated. Like it just stayed in place like a bug in amber. Yeah. Like it was just, it was just stuck there. It couldn't get better. It didn't get worse, thank God. And now heavens have opened. Angel choir is singing. I don't even know. Whatever. But you know what I mean? Like it's a brand new day and there's hope again. There's optimism again. My thing to anybody else who might be going through something that feels similar is that it won't always be this way. When it gets air quote better, it'll probably be a new and different life that you won't even recognize anymore, because that can happen too. But whatever shit and awful hard thing you're going through now, the feeling you have and the hard thing, they don't last forever. They can last a long fucking time. They can last a long time. I got all up in my feelings when I came across somebody online who like does a lot of stuff online. Like I think she's a comedian too, but she shares her life through her videos or whatever. And she was like, yeah, we've been in a decade long everything sucks period. And I was like, it can last a decade. It can last a decade. It can last longer, but it never lasts forever.
Yeah.
And so I will gift you some of my eternal optimism if you don't have any for yourself. But yeah, if your power exchange needs to go on autopilot for a while, that's okay. That's okay. You're not failing at power exchange. But once you start seeing signs of hope again, this kind of conversation and the conversations we had privately, that's the thing I would recommend for anybody is let's get intentional about shit. Let's talk about how you've been feeling. 6 months ago, I could not have probably told JB, hey, if you want to turn me on, pull my fucking hair, man. Okay, I didn't say it like that the first time, but he knew the energy I was bringing to that. I could have maybe told him, but he'd have gone, okay. Right? Like that. And then ultimately what that would have done is probably make me feel awful, because I'd have been like, well, I told him. I did the hard thing we tell everybody you got to do. But he wasn't in a place for that to mean as much as it did later. Mm-hmm. When we started at the same time in our own ways. Right. Focusing on our power exchange again, because sometimes it's a fucking luxury to be able to do stuff like that. Sometimes you're in survival mode. Sometimes you're just in every other part of life is on fire right now and I have to focus on that. And then sometimes you get to take the time to focus on your fucking self and in the relationship that you want and make the changes that you need to make. The reason we could do this now though is we've never not been open and honest with each other about where we were mentally, you know, emotionally. And we've had all the opportunities over all these years to talk about what we wish we had, what we recognize about our own power exchange and how we don't love that. We want it to be better. Acknowledging that truth, to me, makes a big difference, because then nobody is having to like climb through layers of like shame or guilt about what you haven't said over the past few years. We never pretended that this was the exact power exchange we wanted. We knew things were lacking. We knew what we had before. But we never like tried to just internalize that feeling alone and act like everything was fine to the other. We were like, no, let's talk about it. This sucks right now, doesn't it? Yes, it does suck right now. And so we could stay connected through the suckage, which made it way easier to connect when things started to get a little easier.
Right.
So,
yeah. So, is that,
I feel like that's, I asked you about goals. I don't really have goals. I just want to like do shit and see what happens. I would like to get to the end of the year and look back at what we did this year and go, okay, what's different?
Right.
What is something that's been rejuvenated? That was another word of my word of the year. What is fundamentally different than what we used to do, and then assess and go, okay, what worked, what didn't, what do we want to do in 2026? But I don't have any like concrete goals.
Yeah, no.
Plans and intentions. Yes.
So, all right. So are we good on that aspect?
I guess so.
Okay. Just one thing I want to talk about real quick.
Okay. And it's not a bonus section thing?
No.
Okay.
Nope. It's a community thing. I saw some people bringing it up in the chat.
YouTube live chat.
Yeah. I'm not going to mention any names, but there has been a dungeon in the Orlando area.
I mean, I think we could.
I think we pretty much know. Name. Well, the shed.
The woodshed.
And there had been some problems there.
Ongoing for years.
Ongoing for years, apparently, and it finally came to a head recently. There have been over about a decade, from what I understand. There have been accusations of consent violations. And yes, at this point, it has finally come to a head. Management was involved, and unfortunately, when it's in the upper level like that, it also trickled down to dungeon monitors.
Yeah, the people that you should be fucking safe with when you go to the dungeon. God damn.
That was my understanding of it. Over a decade, that's a long
time and a lot of people.
So, the Orlando community is reeling right now. Rara mentioned it about, the stuff going on in FET, and we've been keeping up with it.
Yeah, we have finally kind of gotten some information. What we were seeing was like a bit here, a bit there, and we're like, okay, something's going down. It sounds like what happened a couple of years ago, but where's main information? And then Rara in the Living BDSM Discord shared a link of here's where somebody's compiling all of this stuff.
Right.
And it's a lot. I haven't even gone through all of it yet, but yeah. So and there's even a number of past dungeon monitors that have come forward that over the years they have left. Yeah, some people we were like, oh, I thought you'd be here forever. You were like
enmeshed
in the community.
We were very close with them. Yeah. They were very enmeshed in the community. They were educators themselves, and they left. Just they were done. They could not continue with the things that were going on. So yes, everything has come to a head, and for now, yes, the shed is closed.
My understanding is it's supposed to be getting new ownership.
I had read something that there's already new owners.
Okay.
That it will be opening. But I think my understanding that is right now at this point in time, that is not the focus. The focus is on helping the people who are victims of these consent violations
Right.
and the community healing.
Yeah.
You know, that and that's something that's not going to happen overnight. You know, I'm very happy to see the Orlando Munch has stepped up and they have put out resources for
Okay.
people.
Okay.
You know, so it's sad. It's very, very sad. You know, I had actually heard some rumblings years ago, and I just kind of like, you know, no, that can't
That can't be right.
That
Yeah,
doesn't that doesn't sound right from what I've seen. But apparently, yes, it had been going on for a while.
Yeah, I've always been in the dark about stuff like that because I'm not usually paying attention. But what was it? A couple years ago, things blew up, and there were promises
Yeah.
to do better, and clearly that did not happen. And now, and I'm sure there's been many things in between, just because I saw one thing one time, and
Yeah.
that's I think why this is finally just come to a head, and like things just cannot continue as they have been.
Right.
No idea what that's going to look like in the future. We are not heavily involved with that community, but you know, we are thinking about the folks who have been harmed and who
Right.
had a community they thought they could trust and don't right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, but for anybody who's like, you're in Florida, don't you know? We are aware. We are so far on the outskirts. This is not our story. We are just able to kind of look in and go, oh, that was all fucking awful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And on a little bit of a lighter note, another club that I've talked about a lot in the past that we attended.
the very first dungeon I ever got to go to.
The Phoenix Club. They are under new ownership, from my understanding, from
With
what
a
I've
new
seen.
name.
Deviant.
Okay.
Yeah, or Deviant or Deviants.
Okay.
But yeah, they've got a whole new name, and yeah,
Maybe one day we'll get to go back there and see what it's like.
yeah,
I mean, since I have even been aware of the Phoenix Club and had gone to it, they had changed ownership a couple of times. Because unless it's your career, running a dungeon, especially a successful one, I mean, that's a lot of late nights on your weekends. That's
Yeah.
a lot of night work.
Yeah.
And we had known people who, for the Phoenix, who had owned it, and then they went, we just can't do this anymore, and then sold it to. But yeah, this is since I've been aware that the Phoenix Club existed, this is the first name change that I'm
first
I know
name
of.
since they opened. They have
Okay,
been
they've always been the Phoenix.
Always been the
Okay.
Phoenix. So yeah, the name change now that's very different. Since I've known the club, they've gone through a lot of
Yeah,
changes.
yeah, and that's
Owners and you're right. You know, I was fairly good friends with owners years ago. And yeah, you pretty much give up your life, you know, because every weekend, you know, a lot of times during the weeks they would host Munch at times, you know, and they'd have other functions. So, you know, it just goes on, and it you know.
yeah, and then you've got to
It's
deal
a
with the
lot.
bureaucracy of wherever the hell you live and potential liability. Like,
Yeah.
I think for 5 seconds flirted with maybe one day having a dungeon, and just the tiny bit we looked into it went, yeah, no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
we are not built for that.
No.
But yeah, so
yeah, there's a lot of changes in the community here in Florida. Some good, some not so good.
clearly some needed. And
Yeah,
hopefully they
some
yield something better going forward.
right.
So,
So anyway, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit.
yeah.
So
On that note,
are we good?
we are sorry to bring the room down with
Yeah.
that reality, but
Well.
yeah, I guess we're good and can talk about our snoring dog,
Yeah.
who sounds like she just worked a double.
Or she did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Keep it kinky, y'all.
And we'll see you next week. Daddy.
Yes.
Can we talk to the crickets?
Yes. And then I'm going to hold you back.
Oh, The only thing I could think about is the Lola update, because it happened fast. She's going for eye surgery on Thursday. For live stream folks, that's day after. For
this,
podcast folks, it's the day
It'll
before.
be the day before.
But yeah, we talked about it several weeks ago about her eyelashes curl in, and that's what causes problems with her eyes. Blah blah blah. And so we realized Monday. Has it just been Monday? Mm-hmm. No, or it was Tuesday. It was yesterday. We realized, we can schedule her surgery now.
Right.
So we call the vet, and we're thinking, it's a couple weeks out.
Right.
They'll be putting her on the books for February.
Mm-hmm. No.
They're like, we can get her in on Thursday's schedule. And I was like, doesn't she have to do pre-op stuff? They're like, yeah, you can come in today and do that. I was like, this is happening very fast, which is fine. The sooner we can get her the surgery, the sooner her eyes hopefully won't bother her anymore. But it is going to be 2 weeks of a cone.
2 weeks of the cone for her, and she has to wear it until, apparently they're not using dissolving stitches.
Oh, okay.
They're using the kind of, they will have to be, we have to bring her in to have them taken out.
Yeah.
So, but we're getting that scheduled. This all started in July with her.
Yeah. It's been a lifelong thing for her. But
but
the effects were starting to show up.
The effects were starting to get more severe, and the medication that I've been using, it helps, but it's not going to, make it totally go away. As soon as I stop giving her the medication, it flares back up again. So, this is going to be, it's I don't know if she's still going to love us after this.
She is going to be so mad. She don't like going to the vet anyway. Okay?
No.
Her blood work was a 10-minute max appointment on Tuesday. Yeah. She was very annoyed with us while we tried to get her in, tried to get her on the scale, tried to get her in the room. Ironically, when it was time to leave, then she didn't want to leave, and she wanted to go to explore every room in the building.
Right.
It's like, what is happening here? But see, normally, and I am I anthropomorphizing? Of course. But my sneaking suspicion is she thought that was going to be a bad one, and it wasn't a bad one, and she was fine. Thursday, we drop her off at 8 a.m., and they're like, yeah, it'll probably be after 3 before you can pick her up. So we just are taking her to the bad place for the whole day.
Yep.
I'm hoping that she's like real drugged up from the anesthesia and the pain meds, and so she does not give a fuck.
Yeah.
I do wonder, are we going to need to bring the wagon? Because if she does not feel like walking, Oof. We are not going to be able to carry her anywhere.
No.
But she does not know what's coming.
Nope.
She
doesn't
going to
have a
be
clue.
so mad at us.
Yeah. So, just real quick, Bad Cat asked where the Phoenix Club is. That's in Largo, in Pinellas County, on the West Coast, just Tampa Bay area.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So
she's got that coming. It threw us off of how fast it was. It was like that was super fast. Okay.
Yeah. She's very funny. She over time she has learned what the eye drop bottle is. A few times now she's seen me pick it up, and what she will do, she sees me pick it up, she runs for her crate, and she goes into the very far back corner and buries her head.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I have to be slick about getting the bottle, not let her see me pick it up.
Yeah. But right now she doesn't have a care in the world, is snoring like only a dog her size and a pity can do.
Right.
Truly, like, we have worked her hard.
Yeah.
With no breaks. She's out like a damn light.
Yeah, she is.
So.
But other than that, she's doing good. Onyx and Ella.
Onyx and Ella are Onyx and Ella, but they are so slowly, inch by inch, moving closer to sitting next to one another on our bed. So the way it typically works is 2 pillows on the bed. One cat is on one cat is on the other. It used to be Onyx on JB's pillow, Ella on mine. And then one day, Ella went, fuck that shit.
And they flipped.
And Onyx, I guess, decided not to fight her on it. Onyx will fight Ella. And when I say fight, I don't mean like the scary cat fights are like, oh shit, we need to like take somebody to the vet now. But like she'll bat at her like, bitch, get out of my spot. No. Ella said, I want to be here. And Onyx went, fuck it. Okay. So for a couple weeks, it's swapped, right? Onyx was on my pillow. Ella was on JB's pillow. And then what was it today? So they've been slowly gravitating closer to one another, inching towards the middle of those pillows.
Yeah.
Until today, they were on the same pillow together. There was still a few inches of space. Though Onyx wasn't fucking cuddling with Ella, okay? But they were in the same vicinity.
Yep.
It's happening. Has it taken us 4 years to get here? 5 years to get here? 4 years?
But see,
whatever.
You know, you talk about how Onyx conceded the pillow. The one thing that she still will not, after all this time, and I don't think that will ever change, she will not let Ella in the closet.
Oh, that is her. Yeah, that's her sacred safe space. That is where she goes when she is terrified.
That's her fortress of solitude.
Yep. Nobody's allowed. She doesn't really like us being in there.
No. Nope. So, yeah, I don't think that will ever change.
Oh, my gosh.
Her with that closet, but...
Oh, we can report a semi-update on the flooded kitchen that we had several weeks ago. Our insurance company did say, yes, that's a covered claim. Yeah. And then we learned, neither of us has ever filed a home insurance claim before. We are learning all of this as we go. And I've had to Google shit. Well, here's what. If you don't know, I'll help you know. Because I didn't know. They don't, and I knew they wouldn't just send us the money. Because then you could spend it on whatever the fuck you wanted. And they don't want you to do that either. So they send you a check with homeowners' names on it. That's both of us. And your mortgage company on it.
Yeah.
And so everybody has to endorse it. And then the mortgage company gets to decide how the money is dispersed. And ours, I don't know if ours is making it complicated or if this is what others do. But it's going to be a long process now. It's not just hey, hire a contractor, get a quote, have them start working. Personally, I would just prefer if we hired them and everybody agreed to them and then the fucking insurance company just fucking paid them.
Right.
To me, that would be the simplest thing.
I know.
That is not what is happening.
Nope.
I'm still not 100% sure what is happening. But
Same.
I guess we'll find out. Eventually, we'll have a new kitchen floor, though.
Yeah.
So there's that. And I do not know what that is going to do to recording shit. I no fucking clue.
Yeah.
But our next, now that we're past the holidays, the next project is to start getting quotes so we can figure out who we want to work with. That will accept that this is a home insurance thing and it's going to be jacked up and slow.
Right.
Can you be patient with us? So yeah. So that'll be happening. Is there any other home stuff going on? I kept thinking there was something that was going to happen that was probably going to affect recording, and maybe I'm just thinking of the floors. Maybe that's all that...
That's the only thing I can think of right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some life updates. The kids are good. The youngest is doing just fine. The oldest is he took a few months off from working to get through fall semester. He's going back to work because his spring semester is a little lighter. It looks like, and I hate to say this, I am a proud band mom. I will go to all the concerts, but there is a possibility we will have fewer concerts to go to in spring semester, and the concerts we do go to will be the ensembles that we really like to listen to. And I feel bad about being excited about that. But so yeah, that's us. And we're back.
Yeah, here we are.
Here we are
In our chairs.
Yep,
Doing our thing.
Did it only take us 85 tries to get the mics fully functioning?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We got here.
Yeah.
Eventually. So now I guess we're gonna go.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.